Shema Mashak Yahushua, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua, Kohala Yahweh, by Shema Mashak Yahushua, all glory and honor to Yahweh in the name of your son Yahushua. All glory and honor to Yahweh by Shema Mashak Yahushua, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, the Alpha, the Omega, the first and the last, the beginning and the ending, the Prince of Peace, the burden bearer, the Holy One of Israel. All glory and honor to the Most High. Peace and blessings to each and every one scattered across the four corners of the earth in these last days. Peace and blessings to the elders and the leaders in the nation of Israel, striving and enduring, and all camps and congregations, and those that are not in camps and congregations. Peace and blessings to you as well. Lord willing, you enduring, stand the course on the straight and narrow path, forsaking the flesh and the cares of this world to the best of your ability. All glory and honor to the Most High. Come, Fisherman of Zion, back on the back with another video, another lesson through the Spirit of Bible Shah. Lord willing, this will be edifying to you. I don't count this as a light thing to do. All glory and honor to the Heavenly Father. Peace and blessings to you. I believe I titled this, Now is the Time. Be fervent for the Lord and the commandments. Now is the time. Be fervent for the Lord and the commandments. So we're going to open up with a precept through the Spirit of Bible Shah. And we're going to get Psalms 122. Psalms 122. Peace and blessings to you, a little later than we normally do it, but nevertheless, all glory and honor to the Most High. Psalms 122 and verse 1, and it reads, I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of the Lord Yahweh. So all glory and honor to the Most High, that we're able to be in the spirit of meditating on the Lord, meditating on his word, doing all we can to present our body a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto the Most High, which is our reasonable service. Peace and blessings to each and every one. Lord willing, you're enduring in these last days, and you're in the spirit of being glad of reading, praying, fasting, making your call and election sure, present your body to live a sacrifice, wholly acceptable, that the Lord can deem it as righteousness to the best of his ability. So let me get this in James right quick. This is James chapter 5, and I'm going to start at verse James chapter 5, and I'm going to start at verse 1. So I'm going to start at verse 10. James chapter 5 and verse 10, and it reads, take my brethren, the prophets, who have spoken in the name of Yahweh Shah, for an example of suffering, affliction, and of patience. Behold, we count them happy which endure. Ye have heard of the patience of Job, and have seen the end of the Lord, Yahweh Shah, that the Lord is very pitiful, and of tender mercy. So we count them happy for those that endure. We count them happy for those that are afflicted, and they continue to stay in the course, continue to do all they can in these last days. We count them happy, So even we count them happy, and those that are enduring, we understand them to be blessed. We understand them to be in the spirit of doing all things in these last days for the Lord's sake, for the elect's sake. So, like the title says, now is the time, because you don't know how much time you got. You can't wait next month, to try to be on fire, to try to get your spirit where you are zealous, to try to get your mind to where you are passionate for the Lord. You don't have too much more longer before the Lord soon cut men down, soon cut women down, soon cut children down. You don't have too much more time before the Lord starts bringing judgment upon the earth and doing all he can, upon the inhabitants of the earth, So we got to keep this in mind, Let me get this quick precept in First Edges. This is First Edges. So like Second Edges, chapter 9 and verse 1. Second Edges, chapter 9 and verse 1, and it reads, he answered in the Edges and Apocrypha. Second Edges in the Apocrypha, chapter 9 and verse 1, and it reads, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he had made. So you got to measure the time. You got to be in the spirit of realizing that, You know, time isn't something that we can control. Time isn't something that we have, you know, guaranteed of. You know, so like Ezra said, you got to measure the time diligently. You got to be able to have the spirit of realizing that all of the things that you read, all of the things that you're hearing, and all the things that you've seen, or things that you're seeing now, you know, are picking up from things in the Bible. You know, so now is the time to get your spirit in a passionate way of serving the Lord, being on fire for the Lord, loving the Lord and his commandments, his laws and his statutes, you know, regardless of how often you fall short or what you fall short of, you know. So definition of fervent, it is having or displaying a passionate intensity, you know. So great intensity, feeling zealous, you know. So you can be passionate for the Lord, you know, for his commandments. Let me get First Maccabees. Let's go to First Maccabees chapter 2. First Maccabees chapter 2, and I'm gonna start at verse 49. First Maccabees in the Apocrypha chapter 2 and verse 49, and it reads, "Now when the time drew near that Mattathias should die, he said unto his sons, Now hath pride and rebuke gotten strength, and the time of destruction and the wrath of indignation." So even at a time now where pride is at an all-time high, is it even increasing, and you know, indignation is increasing, destruction is increasing, you know, with different nations doing things, you know, showing their wrath, showing their wickedness, you know. Verse 50, First Maccabees 2 and 50. "Now therefore, my sons, be ye zealous for the law, and give your lives for the covenant of your father." So he said to his sons, which is the Maccabees, you know, he told them to be zealous for the law and give your lives for the covenant of your fathers, you know. So they was on fire, you know. He commanded them to be fervent for the Lord's righteousness, and not things that they wanted to do, and not displaying their own righteousness, you know. Verse 51, First Maccabees 2 and 51. "Call to remembrance what acts our fathers did in their time, so shall ye receive great honor. So you shall receive great honor and an everlasting name." So he said, call to remembrance what acts our fathers did in their time. So when times get to the point where they seem like it's all hell breaking loose, it seems like stuff is, you know, going crazy, all of this chaos, he told them to call, remember what your forefathers did. Remember how your forefathers was in the spirit. Remember how your forefathers uphold their integrity, uphold their composure, you know. Remember, what your forefathers did, you know, in times when their backs was against the wall, in times when they had to show forth their faith and things that they wanted to stand 10 toes down for and believe in, you know. Let me get this quick precept right quick. This is Sirach chapter 44, because he told his sons to call to remembrance, you know, the things that their forefathers did. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 44 and verse 1, and it reads, "Let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begat us." You know, so he told them to remember the things that their forefathers did, you know. And so famous men were men like King David, men like Joseph, you know, Moses, you know, Yahushua, Hamashiach, you know, men that literally stood 10 toes down for the Lord, you know. So at 44 and verse 2, "The Lord hath wrought great glory by them through his great power from the beginning, such as did bear rule in their kingdoms, men renowned for their power, giving counsel by their understanding and declaring prophecies, leaders of the people by their counsels and by their knowledge of learning, meet for the people, wise and eloquent in their instructions. So we looking forward, to the days where all of the things that our forefathers prophesied about, spoke about, literally hit the fan more and more as they're doing now. So like Mattathias told his sons, remember, the acts of your forefathers. You know, Sirach 44:1 tells us, to praise famous men. And when you do that, you remembering what our forefathers did. We remember how when Moses went before Pharaoh, you know, and he came from living that life that Pharaoh lived, you know. So that was something mighty. That was something that we can remember, you know. We're not remembering, Denzel Washington's, getting Grammys and all of these worldly things. We're remembering things that the Lord actually did through the hands of our forefathers, not worldly men. So let's go back to that. First Maccabees chapter 2 and 51. First Maccabees chapter 2 and verse 51. Call to remembrance what acts our fathers did in their time, so shall you receive great honor and an everlasting name. So we should be in the spirit of having the mindset of wanting our name to have somewhat righteous works towards them, and attached to them. Verse 52, First Maccabees 2 and 52. Was not Abraham found faithful in temptation, and it was imputed unto him for righteousness? Joseph, in that time of his distress, kept the commandment and was made Lord of Egypt. So even Joseph, he went through some stuff, withstood all temptations and tests and trials and tribulations and things that he had to go through. So a lot of these things that we read about is things that we can learn from, and things that we should be learning from, and asking the Lord to increase our faith, like our forefathers' faith, like our foremothers' faith. If you're a woman, verse 53. It's like in verse 54, First Maccabees 2 and 54. Phineas, our father, in being zealous and fervent, obtained the covenant of an everlasting priesthood. So it said Phineas, was zealous. He was on fire, for doing the work of the Lord. And you as a man, you got to have that same mindset in these last days. And now is the time to build your spirit up, to obtain that. You can't wait. You can't keep waiting much longer and thinking that time is on your side just because you know the laws, statutes, and commandments, just because you know the word, just because you know how to pray, just because you know how to eat dietary, law, foods and clothing laws, and you know how to give alms and charity and things like that. You gotta get yourself in the sense of realizing that the Lord gave you what He gave you to help you do what He wants you to do, not hold yourself in a corner and say, I'm gonna come out of the corner when I want to. So let's go to Numbers chapter 25. Touch on Phineas right quick. This is Numbers chapter 25, and I'm gonna start at verse 10. Numbers chapter 25, starting at verse 10. Now is the time, the Lord allow you to see this right now. The Lord allow you to have the spirit, the mind, to be able to hear His words and to understand His word. We can't wait too much more longer to try to, live a better life. Numbers 25 and 10, and it reads, And the Lord Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Phineas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, had turned my wrath away from the children of Israel while he was zealous. It says while he was zealous. You see that? So we gotta be zealous for the Lord. We gotta be very passionate in righteousness for the Lord, as men of the Lord. And if you're a woman of the Lord, you can't wait until you get a little bit more money, or you get a little bit more respect under your belt, whatever worldly things that people want to hold on to, oh, it ain't time yet, or I need to wait a little bit longer. We got to tap into the spirit of asking the Lord, have mercy on me to be able to, do what you want me to do, and I want to do it, and I want to do it now, and I want to be in the right spirit. I want to have the right mindset, because you got a lot of men, they might wait, they might wait. They say, nah, it ain't time yet, you know. It ain't time yet. People might talk bad about me. People might, start, throwing rumors out there about me, trying to figure out why I'm teaching the Bible now, why I'm keeping the commandments now. We not worried about that. Serving the Lord comes. Hey, people gonna talk bad about you. People gonna change a view on what you used to be and what you are now. But you gotta do things for the Lord. Soon as you start doing more videos, people gonna talk about you. Soon as you start teaching, people gonna talk about you. Soon as you start reading the Bible, people gonna talk about you. Soon as you change your diet, people gonna talk about you. You know. So regardless of what's being said, hey, you should have the mindset. I wonder what's being said about me in the third heavens. I wonder what the angels are saying about me. I wonder what the angels are presenting to the Lord about me. Instead of trying to fear men. You know. So we got to be very passionate, fervent, on fire for the Lord, loving the Lord more than we love men. More than we love the flesh. So reading this again, Numbers 25:10, and the Lord Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, had turned my wrath away from the children of Israel, while he was zealous for my sake among them, that I consume not the children of Israel in my jealousy. You see that? So, hey, this is a man that, love his brothers and sisters, love his people, and love the Lord as well. Let's get Exodus right quick. Exodus chapter 6. Because this is a man that we're reading about, where you can get an account from in First Maccabees. This is Exodus chapter 6, and I'm gonna start at verse 25, and it reads, and Eleazar, Aaron's son, took him one of the daughters of Patel to wife, and she bare him Phinehas. These are the heads of the fathers of the Levites according to their families. So Eleazar, Aaron's son, so this is Aaron's grandson, So Exodus 6:25. And Eleazar, Aaron's son, took him one of the daughters of Petuel to wife, and she bare him Phinehas. So he was a Levite, a mighty Levite. So when you go back to First Maccabees, reading this again, First Maccabees chapter 2 and 54, First Maccabees chapter 2 verse 54, and it reads, Phinehas, our father, in being zealous and fervent, obtained the covenant of an everlasting priesthood. So he obtained the covenant. So as we read down, we're going to read it in Numbers the 25th chapter, Numbers chapter 25, and going back to verse 11, Numbers 25 and 11. Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, had turned my wrath away from the children of Israel, while he was zealous for my sake among them, that I consume not the children of Israel in my jealousy. Wherefore say, behold, I give unto him my covenant of peace, and he shall have it, and his seed after him, even the covenant of an everlasting priesthood, because he was zealous for his God most high, and made an atonement for the children of Israel. You see that? So the Lord gave him a covenant of peace, and this is what the Lord can do for you if you are fervent in the spirit. You're very passionate, and you have a very righteous addiction. You have a righteous, honest spirit on wanting to serve the Lord, not for other people, but for your own good and for the pleasing and the pleasure of the Most High. On you upholding yourself and keeping yourself holy and separate to do things for the Lord, to serve the Lord, you know. And this is what the Lord can do for you if you have this mindset and this spirit. The Lord can give you a covenant of peace. You know, it don't matter what goes on in your life or what goes on around you. You know, the Lord can give you a covenant of peace just like he gave Phineas, you know. So I'm going to read this one more time. Numbers 25:13. And he shall have it, and his seed after him, even the covenant of an everlasting priesthood, because he was zealous for his most high. You know, so hey, if you are on fire and you have a fervent spirit, a fervent mind, on always trying to figure out how you can serve the Lord, how can you be a better servant for the Lord, you know. But now in these last days, you got men trying to serve women, you know, or trying to serve their flesh, you know. That weed demon that a lot of men grab hold of in these last days, as well as women, you know. So if you're looking for a covenant of peace and you being a worldly man, hey, that ain't what the Lord gonna give you, because you don't want to be on fire for him. You know, you don't want to be burning for him. You know, always trying to remember what the Lord wants you to do. You know, what the Lord requires of you. You know, trying to remember the words of the Lord. Hey, that's a fervent spirit. You know, regardless of what goes on throughout your day, you have a mind that wants to serve the Lord. You know, so if you have that, you know, which is now is the time to have that. You know, not waiting. You know, a lot of men want to wait. Nah, I ain't ready to serve the Lord yet. I gotta get this money. I ain't ready to serve the Lord yet. I got too many women that want me. I ain't ready to serve the Lord yet. My job keep taking hold of me. I ain't ready to serve the Lord yet. You know, I got money problems. I ain't ready to serve the Lord yet. I still deal with demons. I ain't ready to serve the Lord. There's so many excuses. You know, how many excuses are men gonna make in these last days? And women, you know, always come up with excuses why they don't want to be on fire for the Lord, why they don't want to be fervent for the Lord, why they don't want to continue to be burning in righteousness for the Lord. You know, oh, I got car problems. You know, I can't do what I gotta do, you know, cause I got problems. You know, that ain't what the Lord is looking for. You know, like we always say, anytime you got problems, that's the greatest time to serve the Lord, because you're not doing it for yourself. Because if you was doing it for yourself, you would you just up and leave and dip, you know, and come when you want to, come and go as you please, like the Christian church said, come as you are. You know, that ain't what the Lord looking for. He looking for those who want to serve him regardless. I'm gonna serve the Lord regardless of how I'm feeling, regardless of how much sleep I got, regardless of what's going on in my family life, regardless of what my money looking like, regardless of what problems I got, automobile problems, you know, my house falling apart, you know, something always breaking apart in my house, you know, stove broke, refrigerator broke. Every time I turn my head, gotta fix something. That's what the Lord is looking for. He's looking for men and women to serve him regardless, you know. So let's go back to First Maccabees chapter 2. You know, First Maccabees chapter 2 and verse 55. First Maccabees chapter 2 and verse 55. And it reads, Jesus, for fulfilling the word, was made a judge in Israel. And we know this is according to the Greek. So this is talking about Joshua. You know, so it's talking about Joshua for fulfilling First Maccabees 2 and 55. Joshua for fulfilling the word was made a judge in Israel. You know, so let me get this right quick. In Joshua chapter 1 and verse 1. Joshua chapter 1 and verse 1, it reads, now after the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord Yahweh, it came to pass that the Lord Yahweh spake unto Joshua, the son of Nun, Moses' minister, saying, Moses, my servant is dead. Now therefore arise, go over this Jordan, thou and all this people, unto the land which I do give to them, even to the children of Israel. So Joshua was a man that actually, you know, served the Lord as well, you know, with all his heart, his mind, his soul. You know, so I'm gonna jump down to verse 6, Joshua 1 and 6. Be strong and of a good courage, for unto this people shalt thou divide for inheritance the land which I swear unto their fathers to give them. Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law which Moses my servant commanded thee. Turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that thou mayest prosper whithersoever thou goest. So like it was said in First Maccabees 2:55, Joshua, for fulfilling the word, was made a judge in Israel. So he helped lead them into the promised land. You know, and these are accounts and records that we can look towards on seeing and learning from our forefathers on how they was fervent for the Lord and fervent for the commandments. You know, because you may have some that's fervent to keep the commandments just to be seen, you know, but they may not be fervent for the Lord as well. So you want to be burning for the Lord and the commandments, you know, both hand in hand. Let me get this in Second Esdras, chapter 9. Second Esdras, chapter 9. And I'm gonna start at verse 7. Second Esdras, chapter 9 and verse 7, and it reads, and everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed. So you wanna have the works, the law, statutes, commandments, you know, putting your hands to the plow, all of the things that you're having to deal with, and believing and trusting in the Lord, you know. So you want to be fervent for both of them, and that's what our forefathers did. We can see and look up, you know, the accounts and seeing how they came before the Most High, how they walked before the Most High, how they served the Most High, how they upheld themselves before the Most High, you know. So Joshua, he was a proven fact on what we should follow after and what we should pattern our lives after. So going down, First Maccabees 2:56, and it reads, Caleb, for bearing witness before the congregation, received the inheritance of received the heritage of the land. You know, so Caleb also, you know, is a mighty man that we can learn from, you know, and pattern our walk of life in this truth and the Most High's truth after keeping the law, statutes, commandments, holding on to the faith, you know. So let's go to Numbers chapter 13. Numbers chapter 13, and because Caleb, it's a mighty account of Caleb on how he was standing before the Most High. This is Numbers chapter 13, and I'm gonna start at the top. Numbers chapter 13 and verse 1. And it reads, and the Lord Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, send thou men, that they may search the land of Canaan, which I give unto the children of Israel, of every tribe of their fathers. Of every tribe of their fathers shall ye send a man, every one a ruler among them. And Moses, by the commandment of the Lord, sent them from the wilderness of Paran. All those men were heads of the children of Israel. So, you know, this is an account of Moses sending 12 spies out according to each tribe to spy the land out before they can pursue the land and conquer the land, to bring back a report to be fit on how they should move and how they should approach, you know, before they make war, you know. So, you know, we're gonna realize and read and see two different ways of how things supposed to be done, you know. One with faith, and then you got another one that may be in the spirit of doubt, you know. So Numbers 13 verses 4, you know, all the way to 15 goes into, you know, Moses choosing out men for each tribe. And as you see, verse 6, of the tribe of Judah, Numbers 13 and 6, of the tribe of Judah, Caleb the son of Jephunneh. So as we're reading about Caleb and the mighty acts that he did, you know, the Lord actually had set him up to be a witness on what we supposed to be doing and how we supposed to be patterning ourselves after. So I'm gonna jump down to verse 16, Numbers 13 and 16, and it reads, These are the names of the men which Moses sent to spy out the land. And Moses called O'Shea, the son of Nun, Joshua, and Moses sent them to spy out the land of Canaan, and said unto them, Get ye up this way southward, and go up into the mountain, and see the land. You know, so they actually spied, they actually was spying out this land for 40 days, you know, which, you know, in those days you was traveling on foot, you know, so anytime you go somewhere, you know, it's gonna be a decent amount of time. So jumping down to verse 23, Numbers 13 and 23. I'm gonna start at verse 21, Numbers 13 and verse 21. So they went up and searched the land from the wilderness of Zin unto Rohab, as men come to Hamath, and they ascended by the south and came unto Hebron, where Ahiman, Shishai, and Tamar, the children of Anak, were now. So like a word. Now Hebron was built 7 years before Zoan in Egypt, and they came unto the brook of Eshcol, and cut down from thence a branch with one cluster of grapes, and they bare it between two upon a staff. So they needed 2 men to carry grapes. So that just shows you how mighty things were, according to how our fruits and how things that we had in the days long ago. So reading this again, Numbers 13 to 23, and they came unto the brook of Eshcol, and cut down from thence a branch with one cluster of grapes, and they bare it between two upon a staff, and they brought of the pomegranates and of the figs. The place was called the brook Eshcol, because of the cluster of grapes which the children of Israel cut down from thence. And they returned from searching of the land after 40 days. So this was a 40-day journey that they were spying out this land and doing things according to what the Most High commanded them to do. So I'm going to go down to verse 28, Numbers 13 to 28. Nevertheless, the people be strong that dwell in the land, and the cities are walled and very great. And moreover, we saw the children of Anak there. So this is the spy, and this is the report that one of the tribes, the men of the tribes, was actually given. Verse 29, Numbers 13 to 29. The Amalekites dwell in the land of the south, and the Hittites and the Jebusites and the Amorites dwell in the mountains, and the Canaanites dwell by the sea and by the coast of Jordan. And Caleb stilled the people before Moses and said, so Caleb stilled the people, you know. Now you had some that was putting fear upon the people, you know, that told the people, no, we can't possess this land, you know. Hey, I thought Philippians 4:13 says I can do all things through Hamashiach Yahushua who strengthens me, you know. But yet you have some men that say there's giants in the land, we can't go there, you know. But Caleb said, hey, now is the time, you know. We're gonna read on it. Caleb said, now is the time, you know. So hey, this is what this lesson is about. Now is the time. Don't let doubt come in. Don't let fear come in. You feel like you can't do something. You feel like you can't serve the Lord how you want to. You feel like you can't do this. You feel like you can't do that. But you got to be fervent. Like Caleb was fervent. Like Joseph was fervent. Like Moses was fervent. You know, like, hey, like our forefathers was fervent. So reading this again, Numbers 13 and 30. And Caleb stilled the people before Moses and said, let us go up at once and possess it, for we are well able to overcome it. So hey, he spoke and he gave the report that the Lord wanted him to give, and that was supposed to have been given, you know. So as you read this, you will find out that the other men, hey, they got cut down, and the Lord told them straight up, hey, for the doubt and the fear that you didn't have, according to the fear that you should have had for me, but hey, you had fear for thinking you was gonna get overthrown. Hey, guess what? You ain't gonna inherit the land. I'm not gonna allow you to go into the land. So hey, that's what the Lord can do. If you put fear upon your mind and your spirit of things that can go on in Babylon the Great, hey, the Lord, hey, may not let you get the kingdom. You know, he may not let you get delivered out of Babylon the Great. He may not let you get beamed up in those chariots. You know, because you worried about missing your payments. You worried about your phone being cut off. You know, you worried about losing friends. You worried about all of these other things in the world and things you holding on to the world. Like Lot's wife. Remember Lot's wife, you know, and Luke. So let's go back to Numbers 13, and I'm gonna start at verse 31. Numbers 13 and 31. But the men that went up with him said, we be not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we. And they brought up an evil report of the land which they had searched unto the children of Israel, saying, the land through which we have gone to search it is a land that eateth up the inhabitants thereof, and all the people that we saw in it are men of a great stature. So they said, hey, this is something we can't do. So they brought an evil report. So Caleb brought a righteous report, and the other tribes, they brought an evil report. You know, verse 33, Numbers 13 and 33. And there we saw the giants, the sons of Anak, which come of the giants, and we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight. So let me go to chapter 14 right quick. Numbers chapter 14 and verse, I'm gonna jump down to verse 23. Numbers 14 and verse 23, and it reads, surely, Numbers 14 and verse 23, and it reads, surely they shall not see the land which I swear unto their fathers, neither shall any of them that provoke me see it. So those that brought the evil report, the Lord said they won't see the land. You know, verse 24. But my servant Caleb, because he had another spirit with him and had followed me fully, him will I bring into the land wherein he went, and his seed shall possess it. So he said Caleb had another spirit, but it wasn't like the spirit that the other tribes had that brought the evil report. So the Lord said him and his seed is going to inherit the land, you know, the promised land. So these are the accounts that we need to keep in our minds and our spirits, you know, in these last days. So going back to 1 Maccabees chapter 2, 1 Maccabees chapter 2 and verse 56, Caleb for bearing witness before the congregation received the inheritance of the land. So as we just read Numbers 13 and Numbers 14, you know, the Lord allow him to inherit, you know, that land for the righteousness that he done. 1 Maccabees 2 and 57. For it's like David, for being merciful, possessed the throne of an everlasting kingdom. So even our forefather King David, it's many things that he had and he was able to do for the Most High. Even having the blueprint for the temple and gave it to his son Solomon, you know. So 1 Maccabees 2 and 58, Elias, for being zealous and fervent for the law, was taken up into heaven. You see that? So, you know, this is something that you got to have on your mind. It says he was fervent for the law and was taken up into heaven. You know, he was on fire. He was very passionate for keeping the Lord's laws, statutes, and commandments. You know, so the Lord, he took him off the earth. You know, just imagine that. You know, just imagine the Lord taking you off the earth because you on fire. Let me go to let me get this quick precept right quick. In 2 Kings. This is 2 Kings. 2 Kings chapter 2. And I'm gonna start at verse 11. 2 Kings chapter 2 and verse 11, and it reads, and it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. You see that? So a chariot took up Elijah because the Lord said he was on fire. You know, the Lord, it was something about that man. The Lord had to get him up off the land, get him away from the wickedness. You know, so you got to keep in mind that, you know, this is what can happen to you if you are fervent for the Lord as well and for his law. So let me get a quick precept on this chariot right quick. This is Psalms 104. Psalms 104 and verse 3. Psalms 104 verse 3, and it reads, who laid the beams of his chambers, and that's another way of describing a chariot, a chamber. Who laid the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot. And another way describing a chariot is a cloud as well. Who walketh upon the wings of the wind. You see that? So Elijah was taken up, you know, into a chariot. The Lord took him up. You know, the Lord said he was on fire. Let's go to let's get another one. Zechariah chapter 5. Zechariah chapter 5 and verse 1, and it reads, then I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. So this is what took Elijah up, a flying roll, a chariot. You know, and our forefathers back in the day, you know, of course they didn't have all of the things that we have now. We have a little bit more, you know, according to technology and all these things that we can see and depict, you know. So this is how they described it, a flying roll. So like Zechariah described it, that's what took Elijah up, you know, him being fervent, you know, the Lord seeing him as righteous. So he had to get him away from all of the wickedness, you know. Let me get Colossians. Get this precept in Colossians right quick. This is Colossians chapter 1. Colossians chapter 1, and I'm going to start at verse Colossians 1, and I'm going to start at verse, let me see where I want to start at. I'm going to start at verse 25. Colossians 1 and 25, and it reads, whereof I am made a minister according to the dispensation of Most High God, which is given to me for you to fulfill the word of Most High God, even the mystery which have been hid from ages and from generations, but now is made manifest to his saints, to whom Most High God would make known what is the riches of the glory of the mystery among the Gentiles, which is Hamashiach in you, the hope of glory, whom we preach, warning every man and teaching every man all wisdom, that we may present every man perfect in Hamashiach Yahushua, whereunto I also labor, striving according to his working, which worketh in me mightily. So like, I think I wanted to go up a little bit more. Let me see, Colossians 1. Specific precept that I wanted to find. I'm gonna just get another. Let me get Romans chapter 8. So Elijah, like Elijah was taken up, you know, Lord willing, to those that endure, the hope for the elect, you know, they will be taken up. Romans chapter 8, and I'm gonna start at verse 8. It's like Romans chapter 8 and verse 18. And it reads, for I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. So that which is to be revealed is the glory of the Most High, especially when you enter into those chariots. So in First Maccabees chapter 2, like we just read, you know, Elijah, the glory was revealed. You know, him being taken up into that chariot. Let me get this precept. Let me get this precept in Colossians right quick. Let me see where this precept is. I had it. I can't remember where it was. I'm gonna just get First Thessalonians chapter 4. First Thessalonians chapter 4, and I'm gonna start at verse 18. And I'm gonna start at verse 17. First Thessalonians 4 and 17, and it reads, "Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up." So that's what happened to Elijah, you know, for being fervent and on fire and zealous for the Lord and for his law. You know, it says, First Thessalonians 4 and 17, "Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them." So now is the time to be on fire for the Lord, so you can possess this, Lord willing, if you endure, you know, so you can receive the same things that our forefathers received. You know, First Thessalonians 4:17 again, "Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. Wherefore comfort one another with these words." You know, so he was taken up into a chariot. So as we read this again, First Maccabees 2 and 58. First Maccabees 2 and 58. It says that Elias, which is Elijah in the Greek, for being zealous and fervent for the law, was taken up into heaven. You see that? So for being fervent for the law, you know, and for the Most High, he was taken up in a chariot. So that's what we looking forward to. That's what we laboring for. That's what we striving for. That's what we reading for. That's what we praying for. That's what we fasting for. That's what we abstaining from all worldly wickedness for, you know, and forsaking the flesh for, you know, and trying with the best and, you know, the grace and mercy that is given, being fervent, you know, like our forefathers was. So let me get this in Philippians 3 and 8 right quick. This is Philippians chapter 3 and verse 8, and it reads, Philippians 3 and 8, "Yea, doubtless, and I count all things but loss for the excellency of the knowledge of Hamashiach Yahushua my Lord." It said, "Yea, doubtless, and I count all things but loss for the excellency of the knowledge of Hamashiach Yahushua." So things that you lost, you gotta count it like trash, you know, like dung, you know, animal dung, or even your own dung. You're not worried about that, you know, especially things that you lost for the Lord. You know, you might have been on the way to the NBA or something, playing ball. You know, now you realize that you're an Israelite. You know, you got to count that a loss. You know, don't worry about that. You got to, like Apostle Paul said, you got to count it as loss. You know, for the excellency of the knowledge of Hamashiach Yahushua. You know, all of the things that you lost and you turning from the world, you know, that's a loss. And you being in the truth, that's the excellency of you knowing of the Lord. You know, the things that you have now, you can't compare them and keep, you know, dwelling back on the things that you used to do and what you turned from. You know, you got to count that as a loss. You know, the friends that you lost, not being around your family members like you used to, you know, all that's for the Lord. Keeping the law, statutes, commandments. You know, we're not hanging out with worldly people no more. You know, we're not doing things of the world no more. You know, we doing things of righteousness. You know, keeping the Lord's law, statutes, commandments, and striving to remain and be fervent for the Lord. You know, because how can you keep your eyes on the Lord and you still trying to keep your eyes on things that you turn from. You're trying to turn back and look, just to, try to reminisce on things that you used to do, on people that you used to talk to, on things that you used to do. You got to count that as a loss, like we just read. So reading this again, Philippians 3:8, ye doubtless, and I count all things but for loss, for the excellency of the knowledge of Hamashiach Yahweh my Lord, for whom I have suffered the loss of all things, and do count them but dung, that I may win Christ Hamashiach. You see that? So if that's the spirit that you in, that's being fervent. Daily, everything that Satan trying to throw back in your mind, who you used to talk to, what you used to do, you threw that away so you can win the Lord. Let me get precept in St. John right quick. So you can win the Lord. This is St. John chapter 17, and I'm gonna start at verse 2. St. John 17:2, and it reads, as thou hast given him power over all flesh, that he should give eternal life to as many as thou hast given him. See that? So the Lord has gave Yahweh Shah, so like Yahweh has gave Yahweh Shah, the spirit without measure. He gave him things that no other man would be able to have. No other spirit that any other man would be able to have. So he allowed him to do things that no other man can do, ever created on the face of the earth. Besides the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, the Father. St. John 17:3. And it reads, and this is life eternal, that they might know thee, the only true Most High God, and Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, whom thou hast sent. You see that? So you knowing the Lord, that's greater than what you used to do in the world, and what you used to remember in the world, or any type of degree, or accolade that you may hold in the world, So reading this again, St. John 17:3, and this is life eternal. So in order to receive eternal life, you got to know the Lord. You got to confess the Lord with your mouth, with your spirit, with your day-to-day life, your day-to-day life, your day-to-day activities, your day-to-day walk. You gotta show that you love the Lord, that you believe in the Lord, that you know the Lord, and you gotta believe. That's how you get eternal life. Not that ain't the only way, but that's part of it. St. John 17:3, and this is life eternal, that they might know thee, the only true Most High God, and Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, whom thou hast sent. So, knowing Yahweh and Yahweh Shah, So, that's the knowledge of the Lord, and loving Him, which is keeping the commandments. So what we read in Philippians 3:8, everything, you got to count all of the worldly things and the things that you felt like you lost, because the Lord allow you to know such things that you know now. You can't take that for granted. The things that you know now, you can't take that for granted. So let's go to St. John 15. St. John chapter 15 and verse 4, and it reads, St. John chapter 15 and verse 4. It says, abide in me, and I in you. Abide in me, and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine. No more can ye, except ye abide in me. So the Lord told us to abide in Him. He's the one that has the ability, to cut us down, to raise us up, to bring us low. So we can't do nothing of our own self. We need the Lord. St. John 15:5, I am the vine, ye are the branches. It says, I am the vine, ye are the branches. He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me ye can do nothing. So without the Lord, we can't do nothing. You know, we got to keep that in our minds and our spirits, and we got to move in that, in that mindset every day, that the Lord has grace and mercy upon us to see. You know, so we can't do nothing. You know, if you don't even know the Lord, you can't do nothing without the Lord. You know, so like we read in Philippians 3:8, we count all of those things lost for what the Lord gave us: wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. You know, so I'm gonna jump down to verse 16, St. John 15:16, and it reads, "Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you." So the Lord chose you. You didn't choose. You didn't choose the Lord. The Lord chose you. You know. So how much more longer can we wait to try to be on fire, to be fervent, to be passionate, to burning, zealous for the Lord? You know, not just in front of the camera, but behind closed doors. You know, with our spouses, with our children, on the workplace. You know, whatever we do, in our day-to-day lives. St. John 15:16, "Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you that ye should go and bring forth fruit." So the Lord ordained us to bring forth fruit. He set this thing up, not to bring forth, some type of worldly accolades, worldly things, not to kill ourselves to try to bring forth a Rolls Royce, or all type of designer clothes, to bring forth fruit. This is what he ordained us to do, and to glorify him, to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, to be fervent for him, be passionate for him, to be burning for him, not burning for women, not burning, or a woman burning for a man, not passionate for others, but passionate and bringing forth fruit for him. St. John 15, where we left off, that ye should go and bring forth fruit, that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it to. So like he may give it you. See that? So this is what the Lord, this is that knowledge that we read about in Philippians 3:8. So jumping down to St. John 15:26. This is that knowledge. But when the Comforter is come, whom I will send unto you from the Father, even the Spirit of truth, which proceeded from the Father, he shall testify of me. So, without the Lord's Spirit, without the Holy Spirit, you can't even say the Lord's name. So, all of the things that we dropped and left behind in the world, that was well worth it. And we count that as lost, like Apostle Paul said in Philippians 3:8. So finishing this, St. John 15:27, and ye shall also, and ye also shall bear witness, because ye have been with me from the beginning. So that same Spirit has been with the Lord from the beginning. And like the Lord told us in 15:16, St. John 15:16, that he chose us, So we gotta be fervent. This is the time now. This is the time now. Don't wait until Jacob's trouble. Don't wait till civil war. Don't wait till all hell start really breaking loose, where nobody can look and see, well, this is it. We can't wait then. We gotta do it now. So let's go back to Philippians 3. Let's go back to Philippians chapter 3. And we're going to go back to continue at verse 8. Philippians 3:8. And it reads, "Yea, doubtless, and I count all things but loss for the excellency of the knowledge of Hamashiach Yahushua my Lord, for whom I have suffered the loss of all things, and do count them but dung, that I may win Hamashiach." Verse 9. Philippians 3:9. "And be found in him, not having my own righteousness, which is of the law, but that which is through the faith of Hamashiach, the righteousness which is of Most High God by faith." So we gotta have what the Lord requires of us, you know, on our minds and our spirits to the best of our ability, you know. And like King David said in his Psalms, those who humble themselves, the Lord will exalt. So reading this down in verse 10, Philippians 3 and 10. That I may know him and the power of his resurrection and the fellowship of his sufferings, being made conformable unto his death, if by any means I might attain unto the resurrection of the dead. Not as though I had already attained, either were already perfect, but I follow after, if that I may apprehend that for which also I am apprehend of Hamashiach Yahushua. So we got to continue to endure and to strive, you know, because it's a day-to-day battle. You know, it's a laborious journey, you know, and we can't just act like we made it and just kick our feet up, you know, and you know, rub our hands together and wait for the kingdom of heaven. You know, we got to continue to, you know, stay fervent as well. Philippians 3 and 13, brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forth unto those things which are before. You see that? So part of being fervent for the Lord and for the Lord commandments is forgetting of the things that's behind, you know. And Lot's wife didn't do that. You know, she was turning back, looking at all the things, all of the riches, all of the things that her husband had, you know, all of the things that she had and possessed, you know. So staying passionate and on fire for the Lord is what? Keeping your eyes on the Lord, you know, staying focused, you know, being very disciplined as well. Philippians 3 and 14. I press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of Most High God in Hamashiach Yahushua. So we press towards the mark. You got to press towards the mark. You know, you can't just say, where's it at? All right, I'll try again tomorrow. Where's it at? All right, I'll try again later. You know, we pressing towards the mark, you know, very passionate for the Lord, on fire for the Lord, you know, with our minds, with our spirits. When we get weak, calling upon the Lord. When we start losing grip on holding on, we calling upon the Lord, asking the Lord for strength, praying for strength, fasting for strength, you know. And anytime any spiritual demon try to overthrow us, you know, we doing all we can to get it about, get it out, you know. So let's go to Romans. Let's go to Romans chapter 2, Romans chapter 12. You know, so now is the time. Romans chapter 12, and I'm gonna start at verse 9. Romans 12 and 9, and it reads, let love be without dissimulation. So hey, don't act like you love the Lord and be faking it. And don't act like you love your brothers and sisters and be faking it as well. You know, you gotta be honest, you know, you gotta be honest. That's what the Lord is looking for. He's looking for an honest spirit. And those who are speaking of the spirit of truth, speaking of spirit of being sincere, you know. So Romans 12 and 9, this is how you be fervent, you know. Romans 12 and 9, let love be without dissimulation. Abhor that which is evil. So you gotta do away with that which is evil, you know. You got to do away with that smoking weed. You know, you got to do away with all of the folly and the madness and the uncleanness and the abominations. You know, do away with it. Abhor that which is evil, cleave to that which is good. Be kindly affectionate one to another with brotherly love and honor, preferring one another. So this is, you know, how to overcome evil as well. You know, especially showing love, you know, because the Lord said love covers a multitude of sins, you know. So going down, Romans 12 and 11, and it says, not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. So, hey, we not slothful in business, man. You know, and the sloth, you know, they take their time. They just move real slow. You know, we gotta be on it right now. We gotta stand on Yahweh Bashim Shah's business right now. You know, hey, all of the things that, you know, we visiting as many accounts as we can to see what we can do. What can we do for our brothers? What can we do for the nation? What can we do for our spouse? What can we do for our children? What can we do for the Lord? What can we do for the ministry? You know, rejoicing. So like reading this again, Romans 12 and 11 says, not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. You know, so your spirit might try to lose that passion, you know, but you gotta rekindle that thing. You gotta keep rekindling it, you know. So it's many things that you can do to try to keep that flame burning, you know, prayer, fasting, you know, many things. Romans 12 and 12, rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing instant in prayer. So you got to be rejoicing in that hope. You know, you got to be glad. Like we always read and start the video off Psalms 122. I was glad when they said, let us go into the house of the Lord. You know, so rejoicing in hope. We hoping that the Lord redeems us out of Babylon the Great. We hoping that the Lord have mercy on the hope for the elect. You know, so you got to be rejoicing in the hope. Patient in tribulation. So anytime things come your way, you know, to test you, you know, you can't fumble. You can't slip and slide. You know, you got to take advantage and try to grow thereby. You know, or else, you know, you think it's gonna be easy getting to the kingdom of heaven. It's not an easy walk. You know, Yahweh Shah didn't get put on the cross, didn't get put on a tree to have us walk an easy walk to the kingdom of heaven. You know, that's what the Christian church think. That's what they think, just because they accept the Lord and confess him and think about the Lord for a couple times out of the year, you know, that hey, they made it. You know, you gotta endure tribulation. You gotta endure people hating you. You know, you gotta endure people talking about you. You know, you gotta endure all of the works and the pains and the sufferings. You know, continue with instant in prayer. Romans 12 and 13. Distributing to the necessity of saints, given to hospitality. Bless them which persecute you. So even people that speak bad on you, that do try to do harm to you, you know, you gotta bless them. Didn't the Lord say that in Matthew the 5th chapter? You know, let me get that right quick. Matthew chapter 5. So you want to be fervent for the Lord and the commandments. This is what you got to do. This is Matthew chapter 5, and I'm gonna start at verse 7. Matthew chapter 5 and verse 7, and it reads, "Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy." You know, also in Psalms too. You know, let me get that right quick. Psalms, I believe that's Psalms 18. Psalms chapter 18 and Psalms 18, and I'm gonna start at verse 25. Psalms 18 and verse 25, and it reads, "With the merciful thou wilt shew thyself merciful. With an upright man thou wilt shew thyself upright." So you being merciful towards others, the Most High gonna be merciful towards you. And that's what he said right here in Matthew chapter 5 and verse 7. "Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy." So people that talk bad about you, that do bad to you, you know, hey, you being merciful to them, you know. And reading on Matthew chapter 5 verse 8, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see Most High God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of the Most High God." See that? So as we just read, Romans chapter 12 and verse 14, "Bless them which persecute you, bless and curse not." So even people that do wrong to you, You know, you praying for them. You asking the Most High to have mercy on them. Forgive them. You know. Isn't that what Yahweh Shah did? Said on the when he was being crucified? Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. In a moment, in a time when he was literally in pain and agony, distress, he asked the Lord to have mercy on them, for they know not what they do. You see that? So this is what happens, and this is something that we have to have on our spirit if we want to be passionate for the Lord and the commandments, fervent for the Lord. It says, bless them which persecute you, bless and curse not. Romans 12:15. Rejoice with them that do rejoice, and weep with them that weep. Be of the same mind one to another. Mind not high things, but consent to men of low estate. Be not wise in your own conceits. Recompense to no man evil for evil. Provide things honest in the sight of all men. See that? So that's what the Lord is actually looking for. So let's go to 2 Chronicles. 2 Chronicles chapter 13. And I'm gonna start at verse 10. 2 Chronicles 13 and verse 10, and it reads, but as for us, the Lord Yahweh is our most high God, and we have not forsaken him. And the priests which minister unto the Lord Yahweh are the sons of Aaron, and the Levites wait upon their business. See that? So even men, you know, of high stature, you know, high priests, you know, even men that could have just, you know, kicked their feet up when they made it. Because a lot of people, when they feel like they got so close to the Lord, you know, even now in this day and age, they you know, they kind of just lean back, you know, take their foot off the gas. You know, these men, Aaron, Moses, King David, you know, they didn't kick their feet up. You know, they said we wait upon their business. We wait upon the business. You know, they continue doing what they had to do for the Lord. You know, so reading this again, 2 Chronicles 13 and 10. But as for us, the Lord Yahweh is our most high God, and we have not forsaken him. So, they didn't forsake the Lord. And the priests which minister unto the Lord are the sons of Aaron, and the Levites wait upon their business. Verse 11. And they burn unto the Lord Yahweh every morning and every evening burnt sacrifices and sweet incense. The shewbread also set they in order upon the pure table, and the candlestick of gold with the lamps thereof to burn every evening. For we keep the charge of the Lord Yahweh our most high God. But ye have forsaken him. And it's talking about, you know, wicked when you read on down, you know, how men, Jeroboam, you know, as you read on down, you're not gonna read the whole thing, but just visit a couple of key points. You know, certain men forsook the Lord, you know, but they had certain things that they wanted to do for the Lord that was on their spirit. They was fervent and according to the law. You know, you had burnt offerings, which is done. You can read about that in Numbers the 28th chapter, Numbers 29th chapter, 2 Kings 16 and 15. You can read about that in Ezra. You know, you got grain offerings, you got peace offerings, sin offerings, guilt offerings. You know, so you got these offerings that our forefathers done. You know, even the burnt offering was a morning and evening, Sabbath and new moon. You know, you can read about that in 2 Chronicles chapter 2, which we're gonna get. So, you know, they did what they had to do as far as the sacrifices for the Lord. You know, and this is before, you know, Yahweh Shah came on the scene. So this is something that was symbolic what is to come. You know, what is to come once Yahweh Shah came on the scene, and even Yahweh Shah being in the third heavens now. So let's go to 2 Chronicles chapter 2 and verse 4. 2 Chronicles chapter 2 and verse 4, and it reads, Behold, I build an house to the name of the Lord Yahweh my God, to dedicate it to him. So you gotta structure up your spirit. You know, of course we don't have that physical temple now, but you are the temple. Your spirit is the temple. You know, you barely want to read, you barely want to set time aside for the Lord, you barely want to think about the Lord, you know. But now is the time to repent. Now is the time to get your mind and your spirit in a position where you're gonna sacrifice for the Lord. You know, you're gonna make time for the Lord. You're gonna uphold yourself and have morals and standards on serving the Lord. You know, it's like our forefathers did. So reading this again, 2 Chronicles 2:4. Behold, I build an house to the name of the Lord Yahweh, my most high God, to dedicate it to him and to burn before him sweet incense, and for the continual showbread, and for the burnt offerings morning and evening, on the Sabbaths and on the new moons, and on the solemn feast of the Lord Yahweh, our most high God. This is an ordinance forever to Israel. You see that? So, you know, we gotta have that same mindset, you know, on the high holy days, on a so-called regular day, on the feast days, you know, because hey, we gotta have that same mindset like our forefathers, in that same action, and putting our hands to the plow and doing things in righteousness, you know. So let's go to Romans chapter 12. Romans chapter 12. Let me get this quick precept right quick before we go there. Let me get this quick precept in Hebrews chapter 5 and Hebrews chapter 5 and verse 1. And it reads, for every high priest taken from among men is ordained for men. So like it, reading this one more time. Hebrews 5 and 1. For every high priest taken from among men is ordained for men in things pertaining to Most High God, that he may offer both gifts and sacrifices for sins. Who can have compassion on the ignorant and on them that are out of the way? For that he himself also is compassed with infirmity, and by reason hereof he ought, as for the people, so also for himself, to offer for sins. And no man taketh this honor unto himself, but he that is called of Most High God, as was Aaron. So even Aaron the high priest, you know, that had to do specific things and nobody else could, you know. So Yahushua that having to, you know, give up himself for our shortcomings, which no man can do. You know, even when you read Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 68. And the Lord Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. So we understand that our forefathers, you know, and our foremothers, you know, went into slavery on slave ships. You know, this is how we go into understanding through the curses who we are, us being the Israelites. You know, because other nations can't say they went into slavery on slave ships. And bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bond men and bond women, and no man shall buy you. So nobody, that word buy is redeemed. Nobody is going to redeem us but Yahweh Shah, the anointed, the righteous. Verse, I'm gonna jump down to verse 8, Hebrews 5 and 8. Though he were a son, yet learned he obedience by the things which he suffered, and being made perfect, he became the author of eternal salvation unto all them that obey him, called of Most High God and high priest after the ordinance of Melchizedek. So let me get another one. This is Hebrews chapter 9, and I'm gonna start at verse 15. And for this cause he is the mediator of the New Testament, that by means of death, for the redemption of the transgressions that were under the first testament, they which are called might receive the promise of eternal inheritance. For where a testament is, there must also of necessity be the death of the testator. For a testament is of force after men are dead, otherwise it is of no strength at all while the testator lived, whereupon neither the first testament was dedicated without blood. For when Moses had spoken every precept to all the people according to the law, he took the blood of cows and of goats with water and scarlet wool and hyssop, and sprinkled both the book and all the people, saying, This is the blood of the testament which Most High hath enjoined unto you. Moreover, he sprinkled the blood both the tabernacle, sprinkled with blood both the tabernacle and all the vessels of the ministry. And almost all things are by the law purged with blood, and without shedding of blood is no remission. So the Lord had to lay down his blood for us. He had to shed his blood for us, you know. So, hey, what can we do? We got to sacrifice for him, you know. We got to give our minds to the Lord. We got to give, you know, things that we possess to the Lord to the best of our ability as well, you know. So let's go to Romans. Let's go to Romans chapter 12. Romans chapter 12. We're gonna get a couple more and we're gonna wind down a little bit. Romans chapter 12, and I'm gonna start at verse 1. And it reads, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Most High God, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice. So, hey, your mind, you know, your ears, your eyes, to the best of your ability, you know, because when the Lord bring you down a certain narrow path, you can't look at certain things anymore. You can't think about certain things anymore. You can't look back anymore. When you was in the world, you used to can look back. When you were serving all of these religions and all of these false gods, you used to can look back, you know. But now, now is the time to be fervent for the Lord, to be very passionate for the Lord, you know, very desirous of such righteous things for the Lord, you know. Present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto the Most High God, which is a reasonable service. So you got to be holy, set apart, and you got to do things of accepting, you know, like Apostle Paul, you know, he gave the northern kingdom back to the Lord, you know, which is another way of saying a free will offering, you know, that you can read about in which is another way of saying a peace offering that you can read about in Leviticus 7 and 11, you know. So you can give your time, you know, you can give your mind, you know, getting your children in a position where, you know, they walking in the ways of the Lord, you know, instead of dealing with worldly friends, you know. And you may not be able to find other Israelite friends, but hey, there may be a sacrifice. You're gonna have to walk by yourself. You know, you may not be able to find another spouse, you know, to walk with, to serve the Lord. You may have to be by yourself. Being holy is set apart. You ain't just around any and everybody, you know. The Lord wants to know if you want to be with him first and foremost. You know, if you want to be burning for him, you know, you gonna walk with him and nobody else, or you gonna try to walk with everybody else and hold on to the Lord too. You know, and that ain't what the Lord looking for. Because when the Lord try to talk to you, and then you got these worldly, wicked, unclean, tainted people, they gonna try to pull away. You know, so this is why you gotta have your mind and your spirit burning for the Lord, literally. You know. So reading this again, Romans 12 and 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Most High God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto the Most High God, which is a reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Most High God. So we got to prove what is good as well, and we got to prove day by day, you know. Cause what you proved last year, you know, are you proving that this so-called year? You know, are you still falling after that? What you proved last year, you know, you trying to prove to yourself that you can hold on, that you can endure, or even 2 years ago, or even 3 years ago, you know. So you got to keep that same mindset, you know. So this is First Thessalonians. I'm gonna get one more maybe. First Thessalonians chapter 5, and I'm gonna start at verse 19. First Thessalonians 5 and 19. Quench not the spirit. So that's being fervent for the Lord. You know, when your spirit tells you to pray, you hop up and pray, even if you laying down, even if you feeling bad, you know, or the spirit tell you to teach, you gotta hop up and teach. You know, that's being fervent for the Lord. You know, and what else the Lord speak to you and comfort you with. First Thessalonians 5 and 22. First Thessalonians 5 and 22. And it reads, abstain from all appearance of evil, and the very most high God of peace sanctify you wholly. And I pray, most high God, your whole spirit and soul and be sluggish. And I pray, God most high, your whole spirit and soul and body be preserved blameless unto the coming of our Lord Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. So this is our hearts and our this is our prayers, you know, to the hope for the elect, that they be blameless. You know, let me get this in Isaiah 26. Lord willing, this was edifying to you. I don't count this as a light thing to do. This is Isaiah chapter 26 and verse 3, and it reads, thou will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusted in thee. So keep your mind stayed on the Lord, you know, and as much as is in you, with the grace and mercy of the Most High, try to be fervent to the best of your ability as well. Fisherman Zion back with another video. Lord willing, this was edifying. Peace and blessings to you. All glory and honor to the Most High. Call of Yahweh by Shema Mashak Yahushua. Call of Yahweh by Shema Mashak Yahushua. Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahushua. Lord willing, this was edifying. Don't count this as a light thing to do. Peace and blessings. Call of Yahweh by Shema Mashak Yahushua. Be fervent in the spirit to the best of your ability. Pray and fast and ask the Lord to have grace and mercy upon you, and increase your spirit and increase your faith to continue to forsake the flesh and the cares of this world. Now is the time. You know, everything is kicking off, you know, and all of the wickedness of the world is increasing. You know, the evil days are drawing closer and closer. So now is the time, you know, now. Don't wait. Don't continue to put things aside for the Lord. Do it now, you know, to the best of your ability. Kom Yashawala Shalom.